second. Going? Okay. All right, so we just completed a print of some models for an aligner case. So I'm just going to kind of show you my process, at least when using the Form 2, using different printers, anything that's a resin, like a DLP or a laser printer is going to be processed fairly similarly, but the just the setup and how they're attached might vary a little bit. Obviously, I'm a little bit limited in this area that I use, but it still works just fine to lift the lever, slide the build platform off, and here are my models. So you'll see I've actually got 8 models on here, all printed flat. I just feel that printing flat, well, first of all, it's faster, less waste of resin because no supports. There's some disadvantages, but for the most part, it works out pretty predictably, and that's the way I usually do it. Printers just asked me, is there a successful print? I'm going to go ahead and hit success, and now it's ready for the next print. So a couple other things that I have in this area are my lamps. I have one that's got actually the 2 little lamps together. I'm going to come in and zoom in here and just show them. Some of you have probably seen this, and this is just a solar powered. You can see the solar cells. And it's just a turntable, so it turns, these lights are all on, so it just kind of turns around and cures pretty well. And this is just one of these same beds, but twice as wide, so we can put a lot more models in there and cure them all at the same time. If you're curing models and you want to go the more cost-effective way, this is definitely a better size, because these other ones you have to have multiple of them to do a lot of models. All right, so once I've got the models, I need to release them. I'll go ahead and pull our little wash bay up front. Make sure you got your little tray so you can transfer from one to the next pretty easily. Now the trick is, when you put them flat, you don't have any spots to anchor underneath the leverage off, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the little tin snip looking guys that are made for clipping supports, and I'm going to go right under a corner and just try to pop the corner and then go to the other corner. So sometimes you're going to have to be strategic about where you approach. You don't want to torque it and have it snap in the middle. Hopefully I don't do that. It happens very rarely. Honestly, I think I've only done that once. That was when I was first trying this out. So I've got it right here, and I'm going to kind of try to show you as I'm doing it. It's going to splash once it starts to lift there. And although I can't really get back there, I'm going to come right to the corner here, or to the, right below the canine essentially. There we go, there's one. So now, once you get one off, you can start accessing the others a little more easily, but you don't want to hit a tooth. So there are pros and cons to trying to be so conservative with your space usage and your resin usage, is that, I'm going to try to pry this guy off lightly. Sometimes, your efforts to preserve resin and to not have to deal with supports sometimes make it a little bit more difficult removing the prints, so you spend a little more time here. And that's why you delegate this to your assistants so they can do it. And if anything gets screwed up, you just blame them. There we go. There's another. And these are also all the lower models I'm doing right now, which are a little bit thinner, a little more delicate models, so I gotta be a little more careful. The upper models are a little more rigid. Okay. And this one, I can actually access the backs of both of them. Watch, just so I had a feeling that the whole thing would release just because it would be too easy. But, okay. And don't worry, you're not going to gouge your build platform very easily. You could if you're not careful, but it's pretty unlikely. So that side's released. I'm actually going to go ahead and clip all the sides I can get easy access to, and then decide which one I want to, I'll go for this guy right here. Okay, and watch out. Safety glasses probably wouldn't be a bad thing right about now. It's going to fight me a little bit. That's all right. Okay. It's already released. I got that one earlier. This one I didn't. Problem is, if you leave these, if you're not careful, these get gummy and they're harder to separate. The spring is intended to separate for you, but if you're not careful, that gets gummed up, and so you got to physically separate them. And I would tell you that even if you have a different printer than the Form 2, I think it would be advantageous to buy these clippers and use them with any printer. So clear it off. They're all in there. I'm going to let this sit for 10 minutes. When it's done, we'll transition it over to this one. A part of that process, I'll also elevate this guy. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this up right now. I like to create an ultrasonic bath, essentially. I believe it helps to clear off some of the excess resin a little more efficiently. So you gotta leave it open, lift it up, slide this guy underneath, turn it on high, and come back 10 minutes later. It should jostle a lot of the excess resin loose. And then I can transfer, do that again if I want, take a electric toothbrush and scrub them all. But yeah, like I said, the electric toothbrush, we keep one brush head in here. We use the, we just use an Oral-B electric toothbrush. We brush all the surfaces just to get the excess goo off, and then we will cure them. So in the next video I'll show you will actually be us taking them out of the curing unit and bringing them over to our positive pressure machine. This is the Ministar, and actually beginning the process of making the aligners. Alright, thanks so much.